Medicare first to Social
Live in the room,
Security.
guys. About a minute.
Okay.
You'll go through Social Security, and after that point, you have two decisions to make. You have one major decision to make.
Okay, should we do that? Ba, 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 ba.
No, I don't do that so much. I like womp, womp, womp. I like that better. We're just gonna flow it. I have certain things, we will be talking something new. We no longer give out a white paper. Well, we can't give out white papers. We'll also give out a book. Medicare made 1, 2, 3 easy, because it's easy when you have the book and the guide that guide you through the process. Those will be the big things. You're gonna sell the book, okay? Because they can't, and I don't tell them this until they call in and we have a conversation. They can't get a book until they get my face in front of them. Otherwise, they ain't getting no book.
Okay, here we go. Get in front of the mic so you don't have to yell. So welcome back, everyone. My next guest has been on with me over 4.5 years, I think almost 5 years with me now. I have with me Howard Farkash. And Howard is a financial, services for that is a financial health care.
Yes, do all of that, indeed.
Okay, here we go.
Starting
We had a
over.
little break there for a second. Okay, I got lost there because I had music going on in my ear. I'm sorry about that. It's a live show. Things happen. So, you are a financial insurance professional, okay? And I want you to tell everybody, kind of what you want to talk about today and what you do for a living.
Well, first of all, it's nice to be back with you again.
Yeah.
Not sure what that opening was all about.
I don't either. What happened?
But things do happen. Of course, the insurance business is built around things happening.
You know what?
Okay?
You're right. You got to be prepared.
I'm not sure that occurrence was insured or not. But anyway, our agency works basically on protecting people from the financial consequences of uncovered events, such as health events, such as injury events, such as disability income if you're not working, for example, such as long-term care planning, and also finally long-term care, disability income.
Medicare?
Medicare, certainly Medicare, I'm losing, and life insurance, basically life insurance just as well. So we cover the waterfront on what's referred to as life products.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at this now since about 1998, and I enjoy it very much. I enjoy the Arizona environment. I'm a former Chicagoan, and it's a lot going out in this weather than it is in the Chicago weather, especially in the winter time. One of the things about my business is I do help people by coming to their homes as opposed to having them come to my office, getting stuck in traffic, finding the right office, etc. I'm the guy who's got to do the navigational aid thing in order to get to your house. But that's what my business is all about. It's a protection business. Without a protection plan, you can wind up, there's nothing can ruin a good retirement faster than an uncovered health event. And the same thing about your planning. You don't have to be old to ruin your retirement. You can be young and ruin your retirement. Disability income insurance is a big help to overcoming that. In fact, the very first policy that I ever sold, seems like 100 years ago.
It was.
Not
Go ahead.
quite. But anyway, was a disability income policy. The person who bought it from me had plenty of life insurance. But he said to me, actually, he said, being disabled is worse than dying because you get to stay around and see how it devastates your entire
That's
family.
awful.
So he was very encouraged by that. So that's the nature of the business that I'm in. I think today we're going to spend looking at the Medicare part of that business, okay? Because even though we just got done with the intense Medicare season, there's still 10,000 people a day, not all of them in Arizona, unfortunately, but there's 10,000 people a day coming into being eligible for Medicare. And we like helping those people, and that's what we do. We help them make good decisions about what kind of product they want. We spend time with them. We find out what they're looking for, what they like in a policy, and what they don't like in a policy, and we help sort that out.
What I think people also should know is that it's a free service to you out there, for you, the families. It makes sense to call somebody local, especially someone who's been in it as long as you.
Well, I think what you're referring to is there's a number of ways you can go about finding somebody to help you with insurance. And I do think you should find somebody to help you with your Medicare because it's complicated. It has rules, and then it has exceptions to the rules. And that creates a lot of opportunity for penalties if you don't do things in the right sequence, in the right order, or on a timely basis. If you miss some timelines, you could wind up with some hefty fines. Just to give you an example, somebody who misses their on-time enrollment in the basic Medicare product could wind up facing a fine of, say, 10% of the ongoing Medicare premium. So anybody who missed their deadline by 2 years, and it does happen, would be paying $220 a month more. I'm sorry, $220 more per year for their basic Medicare than they would otherwise, basically.
And sometimes that's a lifetime.
And that penalty is lifetime, so
Right.
it goes up year after year after year as the basic premium from basic Medicare goes up.
Mhm.
So it gets a little bit complicated, and you don't want to step into those traps accidentally. So most people don't know what they don't know because most people haven't purchased their own health insurance. So Medicare is easy once you have a good guide, somebody who can guide you through it. Medicare is also easy if you read the book that I'm offering for people. If they call into our show today, they can get a copy of Medicare Made 1, 2, 3 Easy, and they can call at 602-909-8433, and I'll be happy to provide them with a book. And it's a well-written book, and it's written in very common jargon. It's not written in all this legalese, insurance-ese kind of language. It's written so that everybody can understand it. So with that book and a good guide, how do you find a good guide?
You call 602-909-8433.
Yeah, let's talk about the kinds of people you'll meet along your journey in order to find
Let's do that.
a helper, basically. And one of the types of people you'll meet, 1-800 people. They love to have you dial in, and you'll have a nice conversation, and maybe you'll get enrolled in something. And you can do it that way. Then you'll be enrolled. Lord only knows what you'll be enrolled in. I mean, they'll explain it to you. But believe me, when I started in this Medicare field, I had many months of learning the business, basically, learning the policies, learning the rules. You wind up getting hurt if you try to do it on your own.
I must tell them about you.
If you insist.
I will. Because one thing about Howard, you are, first of all, very meticulous. And you want to make sure that everybody understands exactly what they're doing to the T. When you get an email from him, it will be an extensive email explaining everything. And I love that about you, because when you say that you make it easy, you're the guy that does that.
Right, and of course those memos are written once again in easy to understand language, not the technical language. We can all go to the technical documents, as it were, cut and paste and send them out, but that causes almost as much confusion as not knowing in the first place.
Well, you can call him directly and get the book. It's Medicare 123 Easy, and that phone number to call is 602-909-8433.
That's just part of our deal. So what we do is we help people by doing what I call, and many people call, a Ben Franklin analysis. Because basically, once you've gotten your government-issued Medicare, basic Medicare, which is your Part A and Part B premium, once you've done that, you have a major decision to make. And that decision is to make whether or not you are going to be a Medicare supplement kind of a person or a Medicare Advantage kind of a person. Now, both of these programs are good programs, but they also have things that various people don't like. Some people favor Chevrolet and some people favor Ford. They're both good cars, okay? So the question comes down to, which of those do I want? And the Medicare Advantage versus Medicare supplement comparison is best made on what I call the Ben Franklin sheet. And you list the pros and the cons of both kinds of policies so that people can see them side by side. We discuss the pros and the cons But more than that, we also discuss the consequences of the decision. You know, I've been involved in sales work for forever, and we used to talk about the features of a product, basically. Well, features don't really tell, people don't buy features, they buy benefits, okay? And obviously in the insurance business, we're buying benefits. So it's very important for us to know which type of plan offers which types of benefits and how it's all put together.
And which bells and whistles that they throw in there, especially on television that look so good, whether they're really there for you or not, because that's also something that I find can be very deceiving.
Right, we'll talk about that. Are we getting ready for
We're
a break?
going to go to a break soon.
Okay, but after the break, remind me, in case I forget, remember we want to talk about those differences, okay, and the extra benefits you get with one program versus the other.
Now, he has a book, and it's called Medicare 1, 2, 3.
Medicare Made Easy 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Medicare Made Easy 1, 2, 3. And you get the book by calling his number direct at 602-909-8433. Howard has been doing this since 1998.
That's when I was born.
The number to call again is 602-909-8433. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute.
We having fun yet? Oh, yeah. Good.
Made Easy.
Yeah, Medicare Made Easy 1, 2, 3.
I had it backwards, okay.
It's a darn good book, it really is.
I'm sure you must love reading it, but how many people do?
Doesn't matter, because
What do you mean?
it's a book.
What's that? Oh, you're gonna say that's okay,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Right.
Of course it is.
Right.
Okay, well, that's a good one.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, well, I love you, Howard, you're just a doll. You really are. So,
We'll have some fun.
yes.
We'll have some fun. Go ahead, what's up?
So, the question that I wanna ask you, what's the number one question that you get asked by every single person that you work with? There's usually an underlying number one question.
No.
How did,
Why don't
no?
you stay away from that? Sorry, I'm gonna ask you to stay away from that. We're gonna talk about the work with the broken, that's my clothes, hang on. We're gonna talk about those extra benefits and we'll spring from there. We'll just let it flow from there.
Okay,
We're gonna talk about the extra benefits that you get with a Medicare Advantage plan. The fact that they're underutilized, they often create people to look at those benefits as opposed to looking at the basic health benefits. But realistically, you're gonna get care one way or the other, okay?
Right.
So a guy sitting in a hospital bed with a Medicare Advantage plan is gonna get the same care as the guy sitting on the next bed. on
it's
a
just what's gonna hit their pocketbook.
It's how it affects you, yeah, so it's not the, right, now, and also the freedom, also the no prior authorization versus prior authorization. And that's what we're gonna spend most of our time on, okay, because that's a more powerful thing. I really wanna make a differentiation. We already attacked the 1-800 people, okay, and that's all.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not worried about that.
So that's behind us, okay,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
I have a structure here.
Okay, I don't know what that structure is, you need to let me see that.
One day I'm gonna get it done, I'll do it more than an hour in advance.
Here we go, ready for me? You ready? So welcome back, everyone. At the break, we've been talking to Facebook land out there, and the first thing that you wanted to talk about after we came back from the break is about the extra benefits that we were talking about a little bit before we went to a break.
Sure, well, more importantly than that, we want to talk about the differentiation between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement, basically. Medicare Supplement is a pure insurance play. And it's not a club, it's not a club with additional benefits. It's a pure financial, economic play, okay? You get something, you go to the doctor treats you, codes it, puts it through to Medicare. Medicare pays 80% of that bill and sends an instruction to your supplemental carrier, sends an instruction for them to pay you the balance, essentially. Now that's it in black and white, pretty narrow, 30,000-foot view of it. There's a lot more detail than that, but that's the detail. A Medicare Advantage plan is you join a club. You no longer are really under that 80-20 kind of a split that is typical with a pure insurance play, basically. And you're going to wind up with co-pays just like you did with your underage 65 insurance, and you'll wind up with something called prior authorizations. In a Medicare supplement plan, there is no prior authorization. If it's in the book, if it's in the coding book, you got it. The doctor's not going to be second guessed. So if you need a full hip replacement, you're going to get a full hip replacement. Your doctor's not going to have to fight with an insurance company and wind up giving you a partial hip replacement. And that's happened to people where they had the partial hip replacement, but now they can't bend down and pick up a piece of paper off the floor.
How can you do anything partially?
Well,
Doesn't make sense.
Well, the insurance company can't, because you've entered into the world of HMO. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if you know about it in advance and you're willing to accept that, because there's a bright, shiny side to that coin, to the Medicare Advantage coin, and that is most of them do not have a monthly premium, whereas Medicare supplements do. So again, you're given choices here, and by the time we outline all those choices, what you're looking at is a decision that many people characterize as being a choice between the devil and the deep blue sea. In other words, I like this from this plan and that from that plan. Can I put them all together? You asked me about a question that people might ask. Can I put them all together? It's not like going to a Chinese restaurant. You want some from column A and some from column B. It doesn't work that way. You've got to buy column A or buy column B in order to make it all work for you. So that's one of the issues that you have, and that's a very important issue. There is no right, there is no wrong, but that's very different. What's best for you is different than what's best for your sister.
And I think what's really great is that you sit down with them and you go over it's all about their life, their story, because everybody's different.
It's their needs, yes. Now come back to Medicare Advantage. Some of the nice things about Medicare Advantage is there are additional benefits that you get from being in a Medicare Advantage plan. So gee, at the age of 65, you can drive yourself down to the doctor's office and drive yourself over to the podiatrist and to the dermatologist. You can do all that. But now you're 95 or you're 85 and you no longer drive. Well, gee, Medicare Advantage plans, many of them have transportation. Gee, that's a nice advantage. Medicare supplement. You go to the hospital, you come home, the house is empty, you're a single person, the refrigerator is empty.
They got a guy in there for me? Oh my God.
The refrigerator is empty, okay, and how are you gonna eat? Well, Medicare Advantage plans take care of that. 14 free meals, okay? Part of being in Medicare Advantage. Well, it's all up to you to make up your mind. Do you want these extra benefits, or do you want to really focus on how your care is going to be given to you, where you have to fight for your care, where you have to get that prior approval that we spoke about? Those are the issues you have to address. You have to look at your budget. Maybe you don't simply have the money to pay. What is the premium we're talking about? Let's just round it off, say it's about $110 a month at age 65, okay? And it goes up every year thereafter. Okay, so which ballpark do you want to play ball in, okay? That's your decision. It's not the decision of the guy calling you on the 800 line or you calling his 800 line. It's your decision to make up. Most of the time, people only push the Medicare Advantage plans because, quite candidly, they pay us representatives about twice as much compensation. Gee, that's great. If I want double my compensation, I can start pushing Medicare Advantage plans. My business is made up of about 85% Medicare supplement, the lower paying product, as opposed to Medicare Advantage. So, I mean, it's fine with me. It's your decision. It's your money.
I think what's really important to understand is that you educate them really deeply.
Well, that's the real key, and because you're into a world you don't know what you don't know. And like I say, you can do it by yourself. We talked about the fact you can call up an 800 number. You can call up an insurance company. I'm a broker. I represent many insurance companies. You call an insurance company, you're gonna get why their product is the greatest thing since canned beer or sliced bread.
Chopped liver.
There you go,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the difference. We shop for you. We also, if you're interested in Medicare Advantage, then we're the ones who are gonna make sure your doctors are in the plan, and your primary care, your specialists, that they're in the plan, the hospital you wanna go to is in the plan.
How about medications?
Well, we run a very thorough medication
You sure
search,
do.
as a matter of fact, to be sure that you're gonna get the best deal on your medications. We look at such things as a MOOP. People like to chuckle over the word MOOP.
What is it?
But a MOOP is a very important financial measure. What is the maximum out of pocket on one Medicare Advantage plan versus another? Very important to look at that, okay? So those are the kinds of things you get when you work with a broker. I know that after people have worked all day, and there's still plenty of people working at age 65 and older.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to come home. They want to schlep home, and they don't want to have to sit down, and they've got to. Oh, that's right. They got to run out to the drugstore. They got to run out to the food store. They worked all day. Do they really want to study this stuff? Do they
Well,
want to learn what it took me years to learn?
Well, what I really think is that they think they can go to Dr. Google and that they can get all the answers right there. I think that there's places for it, but I think having a professional such as yourself, who has been doing this since 1998, he walks in your shoes, and he is the most explicit when you bring it all down to them in an email and you have it all spelled out completely after you've talked to them and gone over everything for their situation.
What I want to do is prepare people, number one, to get a good plan, something that they know, okay? And what I also like to do is make sure that they can defend their decision, because they're going to play, they'll have golfing buddies, they'll have mahjong buddies.
Oh
and
yeah, don't talk to them about it.
They'll have to defend their decision against their buddies. Oh, you did the wrong thing.
Right.
You should have done what I did. Boy, are you a jerk, okay?
Oh.
Yeah, we don't want that. I want to prepare my people to be able to overcome that, okay?
Right, I think people just don't realize that every person is different, and even you in your own household can be under different plans.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. and Mrs. sometimes do have different plans for
Mhm.
different reasons. Well, once again, depending upon the funding, depending upon their health conditions, okay?
Mhm.
And there are certain plans. I won't sell certain plans to people who have serious health issues, okay? Because it's going to work. The finances are going to work against them. So yes, you have to be very alert.
Now, he has a book, and it's called Medicare Made Easy, 1, 2, 3, and you can get it by calling him direct at 602-909-8433. Again, that's 602-909-8433. This is a free service to you. It really makes sense to speak to somebody local, especially for somebody who has been doing it as long as he has.
So are we close to the end?
I don't know. He has to tell me by his feet.
Okay.
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Let me just say that the important things that I want to leave with people is that this is something you probably don't want to do yourself. It's frustrating, it's aggravating, it's time consuming, and what's even worse is you don't know what you don't know. Medicare is easy. I've been doing it now since 1998, and it's easy for me, okay? But it's not going to be easy when you dive into this yourself. It's easy if you have a guide. If you have a guide who offers both Medicare supplement and Medicare Advantage plans, who will work you within that area, in that realm. So that's a very important thing. Now, if you're already into Medicare, I want to leave you with another piece of advice, and that is do annual reviews, especially if you're in Medicare Advantage plans, because Medicare Advantage plans are only good year to year to year. They're a little bit like CDs. They can roll over, and many of them do. In fact, more of them do roll over into the next year than don't. But there's many that don't roll over, and then you have to go shopping once again. So you want to make sure that you're working with someone who knows Medicare, who can guide you from one plan to the other. Now, it is true that some of the Medicare Advantage plans will walk you over to another plan, but they don't necessarily, and they do tell you in small print on your annual notice of change they tell you what those changes are, and they may not be the kind of changes that you want.
The problem is nobody reads those things.
Oh, absolutely not. The problem is many people throw them out thinking they're advertising.
That's even worse.
Right, so.
And all of the information is truly there, but the best thing to do yourself a favor. If you're new to Medicare, for sure, call Howard. If you've been in it and you want to make sure that you're in the right plan, you do need to get reviews, is that correct?
That's correct. And the other thing I'll mention is make sure you use your annual preventive benefits review with your doctor. Make sure you go and see your doctor at least once a year. It's not because the insurance companies are so wonderful that they're giving you all these free services. It's because they want to keep you alive, and it's easier to keep you alive if they find a serious illness early as opposed to late.
So he's got the book, it's called Medicare Made Easy 1, 2, 3. It's a free service to you. It makes sense to give him a call. His phone number direct is 602-909-8433. Again, 602-909-8433.
Good evening.
Hold on tight.
Okay.
That book, is that the guy, the book?
What guy?
What the guy that was his name that I thought you had heard him, who had,
no,
was
it's-
from another,
No, that you're talking about the guy who was in here
but
did the
doesn't
show
live,
with you?
no, he doesn't live here, he called it in, Or maybe he
Alex
heard
Jones?
you or
You're talking
something.
Jones?
no.
Are you talking about you and I talked about once, said, give me that guy's phone number.
Jones, that's his
Yeah,
last name,
right,
Jones.
exactly, yeah, Jones. But the moral of the story, no. And by the way, I'll